The reason for this exhibition is to highlight the sacrifice made by the Ukrainian people on a daily basis for freedom in the West. But this war is only 2 days away by car and 1 day by aircraft. And we want to highlight the suffering that the Ukrainian people are going through. I'll hand you over to Alla Savakon, to tell you about the photographic exhibition.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, I would like first of all to say thank you Great Britain and thank you British citizenship for their support of my country. It is very important for us. This is an international project. It was Ukrainian idea and British support. When we discussed how to spread the information about the Ukraine, we decided to make the exhibition with the reality of our life. Sergei Korovayny, who is represent his jobs here, it is a young, famous photographer from Ukraine. When we discussed with Sergei what we want to show you, we were taking the different part of Ukraine. We were taking the different period of time. So it's from the beginning of the war until today. We were taking as a military, we were taking the civil people, we were taking animals and nature. Picture, it is the best way to fix for you the emotion and the real life what we have in Ukraine. And I would like you to understand the feelings, the hope, and our fighting. We were not ready for the war, unfortunately. But we were ready for fighting. And from this picture, from this emotion, I think you will confirm and you will understand how important to have peace. Peace in every place and in my country as well. Thank you.
So I've been involved right from the beginning. I've got 2 Ukrainian friends, colleagues who I've known for over 18 years. I've been out to Ukraine twice myself, first April of the war and then last December. With the links and everything we've been able to make, my area is transport. So we have just done our 30th Arctic load of goods and equipment out to Ukraine, and we're on our 13th ambulance. Hopefully next week we'll have the ambulance out front for people to see. And it's all about getting logistics, equipment, medical equipment, food, all sorts of things out to Ukraine. In my trips out to Ukraine, I've visited the people we were delivering to. So with everything we send, we know exactly who it's going to and who's receiving it. So it goes to the people that actually need it. Since then, I've joined Rotary. And with Rotary, I'm doing more and more things with different clubs, collecting generators, going to hospitals, more ambulances. I've just been offered another 25 ambulances at 5,500 each. So we're trying to raise funds for that to send those out. Again, we're working with different groups, Ukraine Freedom Company, Friends of Alexandria, linking everything together to get as much out there as we can, as quickly as we can.
As Ukraine Freedom Company, I'm the Herefordshire representative. This idea of a freedom company or Help for Ukraine started over a year ago when a number of ex-servicemen got together and thought, how can we help Ukraine? We all wanted to go and fight, but we realised we're a bit too old now. And so this was a way of helping Ukraine. It started off with military equipment, so every soldier in Hereford has been robbed of all their military equipment, scored brownie points with their wife for clearing the attic and garage. We then went on to medical equipment. We've then gone on to schools, and now the latest one, supporting animals. Because when the dam was blown, a lot of animals were left, farm animals, pets, without their owners. But as well as that, a lot of zoos have been damaged, the keepers killed, and the animals finally liberated. We all need support. The Ukraine Freedom Company was formed as a non-profit organisation, and the main question we get asked, who's making money? Nobody gets paid, nobody gets any expenses, and in fact if you volunteer it's going to cost you money. But we want volunteers, we want more money and a bigger space to operate with. I'll now hand you over to our patron, General Gennaro, to say a few words.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
I feel very humble and honoured to be patron of an organization that is actually putting its foot forward and helping our friends and our comrades out in the Ukraine. It was a devastating move when the Russians invaded Ukraine last year. I personally could not believe they would have done it militarily, but the fact they did and have now taken so many lives, lost so many lives in what is a hopeless venture, is still the most dismaying thing each day, frankly, for me. I admire, as all of us, certainly our soldiers here and those partners of soldiers, I admire the courage of those guys fighting, but almost more, I admire the courage of those Ukrainians who have come out and are trying desperately now to help their husbands, their wives, their friends who are out there on the front line. And being away from it and trying to support it from afar is a hugely courageous and difficult thing to do. And I want to read you a short poem by Rudyard Kipling, who in the First War allowed his son was barred from joining the army because he was colorblind, but his father had influence in the Ministry of War, got his son into the Irish Guards, and the boy was killed. And this is a poem that Rudyard Kipling wrote, and it reminds me so much of all those who do not fight, they only wait and pray. Have you heard news of my boy Jack? Not this tide. When do you think he'll come back? Not with this wind blowing and this tide. Has anyone had word of him? Not this tide. For what is sunk will hardly swim. Not with this wind blowing and this tide. Oh dear, what comfort can I find? None this tide, nor any tide, except he did not shame his kind, not even with that wind blowing and that tide. So hold your head up all the more, this tide and every tide, because he was the son you bore and gave to that wind blowing and that tide. So we will do all our best, Ella, to try and help your team. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I would like to ask you, when you have heard about the war in Ukraine, What was your feeling?
My feeling was that I wanted to do something to support the country. And my main focus, because I'd recently retired from teaching at that time, was to focus on the children, because I had watched a programme that's saying that they were being taught in the forest and they weren't in buildings, and hoping I could help. And then the clothing was needed. I was asked to be one of the designated drivers to do pickups. So I've been all over picking up from people and then taking them to a designated place where all the items were boxed, and then meeting people that I wanted to help as well. Starting, we had boxes that were made for men, boxes that were made for women, and the babies, children, and school, and also schools. And we've had some really good support from local schools as well.
Yeah,
that
it's amazing. It's very important.
And it's lovely to meet people from Ukraine like yourself, who come back and tell us the stories.
Yeah.
And we also take pictures of the goods that are delivered in Ukraine. So everything, we know that everything that's donated is over there, and we like to see the results as well.
So everything, you can check that everything.
Everything else.
Was it correct?
Yeah.
Both.
We've been very fortunate as well to send over some ambulances on the back of large trucks and medication. And everything is listed. It all goes through customs. We do not send anything that's illegal. So everything is kosher.
What do you think about this exhibition? Is it help the local people to understand the real situation? Is it important to give them sides that the war is still going and we need more support?
I think the pictures that you put up are absolutely extraordinary, because they are obviously an excellent photographer, and we have seen some of these pictures on television. I think it's important for people in the community to understand what exactly is going on, what we are doing as a company, as you can see from the pictures that are over on the display, what we are doing, and we really do need some more support. Just today I've been sat getting ready for the opening, and we've had phone calls and messages sent saying that they have got things that they want picked up. So we know that it's ongoing. We know that there are people in the community that want to help us, and that's very important to all of us.
Where did you get the information about the war?
I came across the war on the television like millions of other people, and initially saw images of thousands of people crossing the border into Poland. And my wife said, we should do something to help. And that's...
Yeah, so what you was doing from the first day, what was your activity?
Okay, so the first thing I did was to take aid to a school in Poland that had taken some primary school children from Ukraine, and they had housed the mothers and the children locally, just outside Lublin in Poland. And then from there, I drove the empty bus to the border to see if I could help move displaced people once they arrived in Poland to their destinations. And that's what I did then for several months.
It is already 1.5 year war. You didn't try to help?
No, because there is an endless need for help. I just work on the basis that no help is too small.
You're today here on exhibition, which is support the information, which we think it's very important to spread around in the local places. What is your opinion?
I think it's really important because as the war goes on, people tend to think that it isn't so bad now. And some people think it actually isn't really happening now. And I don't think a lot of people understand, A, that it's still happening very much so, and B, that it's probably worse now than it's ever been. And it's very important for projects like this to keep the public aware of what's happening. Because if you don't make the public aware, you're not going to raise funds and other forms of aid, and you will also lose public goodwill.
I would like to say thank you very much for your support of my idea. Could you tell me, please, why you decided to support the idea to make this project?
well, like all ex-soldiers, we wanted to do something for Ukraine, and most of us are too old to fight. So this is the best we can do, and anything we can do for Ukraine, we will do.
Okay, thank you. Do you think it's helped local people to understand the real situation which is going on in Ukraine, looking on this picture?
We need this exhibition to emphasise the sacrifice being made daily by the men and women of Ukraine who are fighting for freedom for the Western world.
Yeah. So what do you expected after this exhibition? Do you think it will help you to collect support from the local community to understand your target, what you wanted from them? Because here you show the real stuff, what you need, what the military guys need.
Well, we've got a number of supporters coming today, and they will spread the word, and it's growing all the time. And we only need one big sponsor, and that will pay for everything we spent today. And I've already had emails, people offering equipment for the winter, because now we need to launch the winter campaign for winter clothing, sleeping bags, and everything else. And of course, the latest project for the animals of Ukraine as well.
What do you think about this exhibition? Do you think it is important to show the British people, especially in local places, about their situation through their pictures? Do you have such feeling that a little bit not enough information about the war here?
Because I also do talks around the country, so talking about my experience. I've been to Ukraine twice in conflict. I think it's very important that these sort of displays happen because it shows people what's going on. People do get tired of the war and information, and the news is stopping to broadcast it so much. So these sort of things are very important to show people actually what's happening on the ground, how people are having to live with this, and the effects it's happening on from everyone, from children to adults. Movement of people leaving their country, and just in a desperate situation where no power, no water, and just how they have to live through a war.
Yeah, thank you. Do you think it will help you to collect, some support from around?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Every bit of information helps. Every time I do a talk, more people give more money, they talk about it. And even sometimes 6 months later, someone thinks, actually, I've got a vehicle that's available. Will you buy it? And so on and so forth. So every bit of communication is very important. Keeping people up to date on what's going on, and taking people on that journey, explaining to them that when I get a generator from people, we know who it's gone to. I send them a picture of where it's gone to, so they can see that their donation has gone to a real impact, to a real family.
Madam Mayor, I want to say thank you very much that you come today and join to our team and support. I would like to ask, what do you think? Is it important to show the local people the situation, what's going on in Ukraine? What is your feeling today?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say it's an absolute honour that you've asked me to open this exhibition today. I am really, really tearful today. It's really emotional. It's very important to us, to me personally, and I am trying my best to get it to as many people as I can in Hereford. You are one charity I've started to converse with. We have another charity as well that I help, which I've been helping for a long time before I met you. It's important that we keep the people of Ukraine safe, and they have everything they need.
A lot of people want to help and they don't really know how to help. Do you understand me?
That is one of the things that I've come up against. And what I've done is I've told them what I've learned. Today I spoke to two ladies in a school and told them they asked me where I was going this afternoon, and I told them. And I told them why. I want to help Ukraine as much as I can. And they said, is there anything we can do? So I've got two ladies now that are going to do the comfort boxes for me.
Yeah, okay.
I've got to get them tonight. I will send them the list, and they will start getting them, and they're going to tell their friends. When people know what you need, it will be spread. And more people will come on board and help you.
And support and all. Yeah, what we're saying, there is no small help, It is important whom this help is going.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.